y'all. So we're going to do the Monday after AFC NFC Championship Edition. I know you're looking for the Pittsburgh Steeler in me, and just hold off on that. It's coming. I'm giving you more Steelers content. It's not over yet. But let's focus on this AFC NFC Championship games just for a second, because this is the Super Bowl. This is what we live for. This is what they play for. And we have our two teams. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the San Francisco 49ers, in which was kind of an unexciting, but unexciting game. And it was just tragic. It was tragic to see not one, but two quarterbacks go out for the 49ers, and just the system, as every 49ers fan has told me, the system is king. The Kyle Shanahan system is king, and it is what gets this team all those W's. Fail. I don't think the system itself failed. I think Philly just was there and doing a great job at getting to the quarterback. I don't know all the elements of Kyle Shanahan's system, but protecting the quarterback definitely should be a part of it. Purdy got tagged. Unfortunately, Josh Johnson was in concussion protocol and possibly suffered a concussion. I don't know the details on it after the fact, but of course he missed the rest of the game. Only dressing two quarterbacks. McCaffrey was the backup quarterback. Purdy ended up coming back in after his elbow injury. And I think we need to take a look at this, and the league's going to take a look at this. And with the stringent concussion protocols, are going to have to really consider dressing a third quarterback, putting more guys on the active roster. All those things are going to have to come into play in the offseason. So pay attention to that, because those concussion protocols are no joke now. And so the league is really going to have to take a moment to look at that, because that's going to cost people's games. If quarterbacks are hitting their head and have to go in concussion, not even just quarterbacks, players in general, but most importantly quarterbacks, because the camera's always focused in on these guys, and New York's always going to be paying extra attention on the quarterback. So if those things are happening to quarterbacks, you're going to see some changes in the offseason. It's always something, and I said this on my show, it's always something that happens in the playoffs that causes the big rule changes in the offseason, just like the timeout rules, with Buffalo and Kansas City. We're going to get some rules as far as the amount of guys on the roster, how many guys can dress. I just predict it. I almost guarantee some rule changes, but we'll see what happens. Now, back to the game. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles were able to do things on the ground that the 49ers just couldn't do. Bosa was just not impactful. I know he suffered something on the sideline, some type of knee injury or something. I don't know how significant that was, but it didn't matter. He just was not impactful. He did have an opportunity to get that safety in the end zone, and I was kind of like, that was kind of like all we heard from him, and he kind of just went away. And they had their way. They didn't play great in the beginning, but they were just able to do kind of what they wanted with this 49ers that could not get anything going. I felt like Josh Johnson was on the cusp of getting something rolling and getting something going. And once he went out and they had to get really creative with trying to run the ball because Purdy couldn't throw the ball, it was just sad to watch. So I know the 49ers did not, and no one could anticipate that game going the way that it did. And I'm sorry that it was a playoff game that went that badly for them. That part sucks, but I can't say they're not used to this type of ending for their season. Sorry, 49ers. Next year, we'll see you in the championship again. Maybe, maybe not. Moving on. But moving on to the AFC, this was the game. If you wanted to see good competitive football, the AFC Championship game was it. You had the Cincinnati Bengals coming to Arrowhead, which Mike Hilton wanted to name it Burrowhead. And baby, let me tell you, Burrow was getting buried in Burrowhead. Okay, they had like 3 sacks in a row. I mean, his offensive line, we know that they suffered some injuries after revamping this offensive line from last year. But man, that man was getting buried. I mean, oh my gosh. It was beautiful to see I'm a Steelers girl, so pressure and pass rushers getting at a quarterback is what we love. Like we love tagging Burrow. Okay, ask TJ Watt, ask them boys. We love getting our hands on some what's his name? I'm about to call him Josh Burrow. What is his name now? Whatever his name is, Joe Burrow. Um, he's no longer a problem for us any right now because he's sitting at home on the couch with the rest of us. But it was just so nice to see Kansas City get that pressure. I was concerned that maybe they weren't able to do that. I did ask, a couple Chiefs fans, how you feeling about the pass rush? And apparently Kansas City was up there with their pass rush this year. I hadn't been watching the Chiefs. I didn't know. I know what we look like as far as pass rush goes, but it was nice to see the Chiefs be able to use that as a weapon. And I knew from the beginning of that game that Joe Mixon was not going to be a factor. I don't know why. But I knew Joe Mixon, that was it. They weren't going. He was going to have to throw the ball. They were going to have to be, or P. Ryan was going to be the guy. He was going to be the guy. And I felt like he's a little bit more effective sometimes with the run. I don't know the exact scheme that Cincinnati likes to use him in, but I just feel like he's a better runner sometimes. No shade to Mixon. It just is what it is. But he did have some good catches. Joe Burrow did have some good throws, throws to Chase, that one to Chase and double. You had Higgins and Boyd there. I mean, man, like, they're beautiful. That gutsy 4th and 6 play, oh my gosh, that was gutsy. It was beautiful. It was awesome. And I was not expecting that, but they went for it and they got it. And I believe I said on that drive, if they don't score on this drive, it's all on the offensive line, because that was actually a turnover from Kansas City. I was like, if they don't score on this drive, that offensive line has cost them points, and they figured out a way to score even on 4th down. That was pretty beautiful. But I also said the team with the last turnover was going to win the game, and that happened to be the Kansas City Chiefs. The rookie went out there, both rookies, because, hold on. Let's talk about Kansas City and their injuries. They had lost, was it Snead in the beginning? The wide receivers was dropping like flies. Tony, Hardman, Juju. MVS was out there doing all the work because, they were quadruple tagging my man Kelsey. So MVS had to do all the work. The running backs were doing a phenomenal job. When they were the punt returns, special teams, like, you got to give those guys credit. Even Sky Moore, when his punt returning, it did them justice, got them in position to make a couple plays to get in field goal range at the end. So you got to give those guys some credit, because Kansas City was not playing amazing football. They weren't playing their usual football. They weren't being able to use their weapons because half of their weapons were hurt. So they were down to, like, who that is on offense. And, they stepped up. Everybody stepped up. Patrick Mahomes is on one leg, hobbling, jumping from sideline to sidelines, getting it done. Thank goodness for adrenaline, because if he didn't have it, I don't know how he would have gotten it done. But I am excited to see now 2 Black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. That's dope. 2 brothers in the Super Bowl. That's dope. I'm so excited for that. And then, you guys, I don't know how healthy Patrick Mahomes is going to be as far as his ankle. We know he got the high ankle sprain. But 2 quarterbacks that have some level of mobility. Okay, that element of mobility, it is a wave in the NFL. You want a quarterback that can not only just throw, but can move as well. So we're seeing a Super Bowl with 2 quarterbacks that can do that. And I think these teams match up very, very well. And I won't get into the details of who I think wins, because there's a lot of injuries that occurred, especially with Kansas City, that I got to wait to see what happens there. But they get 2 weeks off. They get time to rest. They get time to recuperate and kind of soak this experience in. But I am excited. Like, this is probably the matchup I wanted out of the 4 teams. The Bengals, I'm just tired. Y'all know I'm tired of listening to the Bengals and their fans talking about how they are just bona fide shoe-ins and they coming back and they getting it. No. So glad y'all sent them to Cancun or the Bahamas or back to Cincinnati for all I care. I don't care. But I'm just so glad they're gone. And I can't wait for this matchup, but stay tuned. I am definitely going to give you more of my takes on what I think is going to happen this Super Bowl. So if you're going to be in Las Vegas for the Pro Bowl games, make sure you look out for me. I will be at the, where am I going to be? Oh, in Las Vegas. There is a celebrity basketball game. Make sure you have a link there below if you want to buy tickets if you're going to be in Vegas February 4th at the Thomas and Mack Center. Celebrity basketball games. Floyd Mayweather, the Diggs brother. I mean, it's a whole list of people, y'all. Dennis Rodman and Gary Payton are going to be the coaches. It's going to be exciting. So make sure you're there. I will put it in the description below where you can get tickets. And I'll see you then. Bye, y'all.